Hello everyone, my name is Afshin Derakh'shesh from Iran. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to present my article here. My article title is Dancing Resistance, Pioneers of New Dance in Iran. Since dance, a taboo subject, has suffered severe restrictions due to religious and societal beliefs in Iran. Iranian dance history has been largely lost, and despite being a strong cultural component in Iranian society, its growth has been stymied and it has rarely been the subject of scholarly research. This was particularly true in Iran during the period referred to as Modern Iran, from the Constitutional Revolution in 1906 to the downfall of Mossadegh's government in 1953, despite the presence of pioneer new dancers in this period. These individuals created various styles of dance categorized together as raqs novin, which I refer to as new dance. I intentionally use the term new dance to distinguish this form from the terms modern Iranian or contemporary Iranian dance, which would have other connotations in later historic periods. Through changing movement forms and resisting restrictive societal conditions, these dancers offer dance classes and perform on stage and public spaces despite varied restrictions. With the prohibition of dance after the 1979 revolution, this category became a historically missed link. This prompted me to research dancers I consider the pioneers of new dance in Iran from 1906 to 1953. Today's presentation is based on the research for my encyclopedic book project, which includes 6 types of review including structural, sociological, and statistical analysis, as well as the review of selected dancers, dance performances, and locations during this period. It is vital to identify the pioneers of new dance in Iran and analyze their work from various aspects, considering they were part of the construction of a modern Iran, but their work has remained undocumented. Recognizing these dancers brings to light the background of new dance in Iran and the importance of dancers who were pioneers in that period. Since these innovative dancers mainly followed Euro-American models, their name has been shadowed by non-Iranians abroad. My chosen focus, new dance in Iran, necessitated defining a classification of Iranian dances. Due to prohibition of dance and the lack of official dance centers or institutions during recent years, and as a result of the lack of organization and collective agreements among practitioners, this matter has not reached collective agreement. Categorizing and choosing the terminology is a challenging issue among dancers and scholars in this field. Categorization can be based on different methods, including position and figure, number of dancers, musical structure, gender, etc., but no one method encompasses all Iranian dances. Iranian dances are often divided into folk and classical dances, which is also problematic. Classification based on the way of execution and the shape of the movement is very suitable, but it is not possible to define all Iranian dances in this way. Classification of Iranian dances. Iranian dance, raqs Irani, divided to old dance رقص دیرین, new dance رقص نوین. Old dance divided to minstrel dance رقص مطربی, regional folk dance رقص قومی, court dance رقص درباری. Regional folk dance divided to Kurdish dance, Khorasani dance, and etc. New dance divided to stage dance رقص صحنه‌ای, social dance رقص محفلی. Stage dance divided to stage minstrel dance رقص مطربی صحنه‌ای, stage regional folk dance رقص قومی صحنه‌ای, stage court dance رقص درباری صحنه‌ای, and stage fusion dance رقص تلفیقی صحنه‌ای. Stage minstrel dance divided to minstrel dance theater رقص نمایش مطربی, کافه کاباره دنس رقص کافه کاباره‌ای. Stage regional folk dance divided to stage Kurdish dance, stage Khorasani dance, and etc. While ballroom, ballet, and other non-Iranian dances choreographed in Iran were also considered new dances in Iran. They were not Iranian new dance, i.e., they were Iranian-inspired or Iranian-themed ballet, and etc. It shows the historical period from the Constitutional Revolution in 1906 to the event of 1953, the fall of the Mossadegh government, as the historical period concerning pioneers of new dance in Iran due to the political and social change that occurred after this event and the effects it had on the field of dance. After the event 1953, together with the series of events that occurred from the nationalists, religious people, masses, and the intervention of England, and finally the government, some intellectuals and artists were arrested and some left the country, and the rest who remained became disillusioned and stopped their activities. From the financial point of view, the event of August 1953 brought the necessary security to profit-seeking businessmen and pushed the field of art, including theater, dance, and cinema, toward commercialization. For example, the intellectuals' condemnation and push to eliminate the motrebi, means satirical minstrel shows, which they considered backward, gradually made them transition to a form called cafe cabaret dances. Thus, a huge wave of this type of stage dance eventually appeared in cinema. This change in the direction of commercialization expanded the types of commercial dances in large dimensions and created a strong genre cafe cabaret in that period. On the other hand, cultural policy was carried out in a more complete form since 1953. The Iran Ballet National Conservatory was established in 1955, and in 1958 the Iran National Ballet Organization was established, where another form of classical and technically structured dance emerged. Due to the lack of economic support from the government and also because of the government's cultural policy, due to its so-called vulgarity, cafe cabaret dance, Iranian movie and popular commercial theater were considered to be resistant to cultural synchronization. The formation of these two strong currents of dance led me to consider 1953 as the end of the historical period of pioneers of new dance in Iran. With the occurrence of the Constitutional Revolution in Iran in 1906, new thoughts and the desire for Western elements on the part of the cultured and far-reaching class of that time gained speed, and the injection of these thoughts into society due to the effort of that were made after this period, among them the expansion of printing of publications and numerous meetings and gatherings in circles and clubs, and the introduction of political, social, and cultural issues. Associations of the constitutional era as civil institutions were the most important factor of social solidarity for social struggle. The change which gradually took place during these years brought with the two aspects of nationalism and Westernism at the same time in order to confront the existing traditional and religious manifestations, returning to the Iranian origin and honoring the past for the renewal of the ancient Iranian culture and strengthening the national identity on the one hand, and on the other hand, the orientation towards the West and the new achievements of this civilization to create a flow of progress in the country and keep pace with the world community. It was possible to advance this duality in Iranian society at that time and spread it through culture and art. One of the cultural policy was to bring art from private places to public places. Going through this challenging category, considering the existing cultural taboos and religious and customary limitations institutionalized in the heart of the society, required facing severe and insulting encounters and sometimes beating and even death, which happened often in those years. Dance was recognized to be connected to other performing arts. The emergence of dance art in the public space was riskier due to its taboo, especially for Muslim women. Of course, Zoroastrian and Jewish women were also limited in this regard, and generally, these Armenian women were the first to step into the arena, and the ratio of Muslim to Armenian women was very low in the early years. In general, religious restrictions in the field of dance are less for men and more for women. On the contrary, customary restrictions are less for women and more for men. This made dance, both for men and women in Iran, face many obstacles. The Muslim women who started to dance sometimes had to change their names in the beginning. With the development of cinema in Iran and the production of Iranian movies, the use of dance in cinema began with the fourth Iranian movie, which was silent. In fact, first recording of a motion picture of a dance in Iran took place in the movie Haji Agha Actor Cinema by Hovhannes Ohanian in 1933. This dance was performed by Asiya Kostanian. According to dominant perspectives, after the 1979 revolution, the curators of art in Iran, followed by the artistic community, pronounced the new dances from modern Iran as imported styles and methods that were widely pronounced fake, or in other words, not considered Iranian. Even though movement may have been influenced by Euro-American aesthetics, these dance forms can also be considered to be Iranian since they crystallized or evolved during a certain time period in Iran. Dance is a dynamic art. All dances were created in a period and gradually changed throughout history and reached us in the present form. For example, each of the regional folk dances from the category of old Iranian dances was born in a certain period of history and definitely changed in its historical path. These dances were influenced by other cultures and nations and have not come to us in their original form. The same is true for Iranian new dance. The influence of Western aesthetics does not make them fake. These dances are also a product of their time. Dancers as choreographers have often borrowed from many other cultures and genres in their creations. For example, Jacqueline Murphy brought to light Martha Graham's inspiration in Native American dances. Just as incorporating Native American elements does not prevent Graham's work from being considered a valuable part of the Western concert dance canon. In Iran, the influence of outside elements does not lessen the value or the Iranianness of new dance. For example, Sarkis Jambazian and Yelena Abedisian were valuable contributors to new dance in Iran despite their influence from ballet and Western aesthetics. Based on the existing photos and videos of these performances, the figures and body line of the dancers show Iranian movement elements such as juxtaposition and unique curvature. Their creations were based on Iranian regional folk dances and court dances, and in many cases rooted to ancient Iranian legends, and traditional clothes, sets and props in their productions. Therefore, in the period 1906 to 1953, the dances that emerged, despite being influenced by Western dances, can be considered Iranian new dance. Active dancers and choreographers in this period were people who stepped into the field despite the religious and customary restrictions of the society and resisted. Thus they revealed the hidden art of dance.
Now I would like to invite Afshin to respond to questions as we may have them arise. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight him so we can all locate him. Yeah.
I'm very happy to be in your presence. Mahsa Hojjati translate to English.
Yes, and I will also mention that Masha is going to be acting as his interpreter for anything that might not necessarily be understood today. Thank you, Masha, for being here and contributing your labor to our conference.
You're most welcome.
So I have a question. How was the process of accessing the archives? Because I know that it could be difficult to create a new historiography when you don't have all the materials like there for you. What was like this process into knowing what was first and what was after that, because here in Mexico we have like a similar problem in terms of creating history or writing history. And I know that if you are in a place where dance is prohibited and you don't have like this complete my English is getting away. You don't have like this complete view of all the materials. How was the process? How did you manage to complete in order to have today a very like a very general view of dancing, of Iranian dancing? What was the process? How did you handle it?
سعی میکنم ترجمه کنم. اگه چیزی از دست بدم Anthony, Shay, Dr. Shay, we're happy to see you here today too. If I miss anything, please cover for me. I'm just recovering from a cold myself, so I'm not 100% here today. میپرسه چون ایشون پژوهشگرن در مکزیک و پژوهشگر رقص‌های تاریخچه رقص‌های مکزیکی هم پژوهش کردن و با سختی‌هایی روبرو شدن که میپرسه چقدر برات سخت بود در کشوری که رقص ممنوعه، چقدر دسترسی سخت بود به همه اسنادی که جمع آور کردی، دسترسی چقدر سخت بود؟
Thank you. من فیلم من ذکر کردم که شما زحمت کشیدی و کلا و مسائل دیگه هماهنگی ها رو لطفاً اینو حتما قیس کن که افشین میگه که مهسا زحمت کشیده. و نکته بعدی هم در رابطه با مسئله واژه ایران هست، بگید که حالا اگه بعد هنوز ایران رو به اسم پرشیا میشناسن بگید که ایران همون پرشیا یا ایرانیان دنس یا پرشین دنس الان ما به عنوان ایرانیان دنس میشناسیم. و مورد بعدی در خصوص حضور دکتر شی هستش. بسیار خوشحالم، افتخار دادن ایشون هم هستن و دیگر دوستان و پژوهشگرای عزیزی که من در خدمتشون هستم و وقت گذاشتن پرزنت منو گوش کردن. در مورد سوال در واقع دوست مکزیکمون بگم که نکته خیلی خوبی رو اشاره کردین. من الان 2 سال هست که دارم روی این تحقیق کار میکنم. یک کتابی هست حالت انسایکلوپدیا داره همراه با بررسی و تحلیل و در واقع علاوه بر اینکه ما محدودیت هایی داریم در رابطه با رقص در ایران و من تو این تحقیق خیلی جاها که مراجعه میکنم نمیگم که در واقع برای رقص دارم تحقیق میکنم. اگه سازمانی یا مثلا ارگانی یا اداره یا کتابخونه دولتی جایی میرم برای اینکه یه موقع ممانعت نکنن، همه نگرانی دارن نسبت به این قضیه، چون هم ما رقص تو ایران انجام میدیم هم انجام نمیدیم، هم زیرزمینی انجام میدیم هم نمیدیم، هم یه جاهای رسمی اجازهش هست به عنوان نمایش و یه جاهایی جلوگیری میشه. به خاطر همین من در واقع خیلی آهسته یعنی در واقع بی سر و صدا جلو میرم و به عنوان هنرهای نمایشی میرم و یا موسیقی میرم در واقع تحقیق میکنم. و یه نکته اشکال دیگه هم که توی ایران هست مسئله دسترسی به اطلاعات، با اینکه این مربوط به چیزی حدود 120 سال پیش تا مثلا اول انقلاب رو در بر میگیره، چیزی حدود 50-60 سال رو، ولی عملاً چون ثبت خیلی سخت صورت میگیره و تاریخ نگاری به سختی صورت میگیره، خیلی موارد رو من مجبور شدم از بین روزنامه ها، نشریات و کتاب هایی که به سختی پیدا میشه پیگیری کنم و در نهایت هم اینطوریه که به بعضیشون ممکنه دسترسی نداشته باشم و خیلی وقت هم میگیره. تا الان چیزی نزدیک به 2 میلیون برگه ورق فقط مجله و نشریات و ورق زدم. حالا دیگه توضیحات زیاد نکنم سخت نشه.
My internet's coming on and off today, so forgive me if I miss anything, but in the beginning he thanked me for translation, then he also thanked Dr. Shea for his presence, and thank all of you for your presence today. He has been, as far as the question, he has been working for 2 years now on this book project. And yes, he has had many limitations to research these often very hard to access and hard to find materials. When he goes to any institution or libraries, he doesn't say that he's researching dance. He presents himself as he might say that he's doing research on music or theater research, or not specify what kind of research he's doing in order to access spaces that sometimes he said that in Iran we perform dance and we don't. We practice dance and we don't. We do all these, different activities related to dance and we don't. And what he means is we don't legally, we can't visibly or legally, but we do it anyway in underground spaces or in spaces. And so his research was conducted in ways where he can't attract any attention to himself, and he's accumulated all the archiving that he's done has been based on newspapers, on magazines, and on hard to find books. So all in all, yes, it's been difficult, these questions of access.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for you.
We maybe have time for one very, very short question and answer if anyone has any last questions to pose. Well, in this moment, I would then like to thank Afshin very much for both sharing his work and research with us and being present with us today. I know that in Iran and your situation is maybe tenuous with being able to do your research. And so we're very glad that you've been able to take the space to be here with us.
محسا جون چی میگه؟
ازت تشکر کرد. خوشحاله که در حضور همه بودی امروز. میدونه که اوضاع ایران با محدودیت ها و اینا خیلی سخته و تشکر کرد برای ارائه و حضور.
تو هم از اندی لطفا از قول من تشکر کن و همه دوستان که تشریف داشتن و پرزنتو در واقع گوش کرد.
And he thanks you, Andy, for your support through this whole process and for everybody for your presence and time. Thank you.
و همینطور دیکالینیزیشن که این امکان رو فراهم کرد که ما بتونیم تو این فضا کنار هم باشیم.
And also thanks to Dancing with Decolonization as a whole, the whole conference and all the organizers and volunteers. Thank you for making this space possible to be alongside each other.